Welcome, fellow developers, to the only YouTube channel dedicated to learning the Outsystem platform. Today's tutorial is how to save a record in a reactive web app. Hello, fellow developers, and welcome back to our channel. We're going to study today how to add a record using the reactive web app. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to a database and we're going to create a table for addresses. It's going to be a very simple table of about 4 or 5 fields. Address 1. Yeah, here's the table name and here's the attributes. We'll start with this attribute and we'll rename that address 1. We'll add 50. Yep. We'll add this address 2. Then we'll just do city. And finally states. And states, we are actually going to link it back to the states table. So we are going to choose a data type of states, state identifier, so that it handles a lot of that backup information, that states information automatically in the back end. All right, that looks good, and we'll compile it, make sure everything is fine. All right, it compiled. So now we are going to go to the page, the aggregate variable page, and here we're going to add a form. So we're going to grab the form widget, going to drag and drop it into the page, and now we need to create an aggregate to bring the data over, or at least the data field. So we right click on the page and we do fetch data from database, and here's where we're going to create our aggregate. So we're going to drag the table address into that, and then we're going to go to the sources and we're going to link the states table to the address table. We do that by clicking on sources, add source, and select the table, hit OK, and Outsystem automatically links it up, as you can tell, with the address state equaling the state ID, the state.id. And that's the identifier in the table. I don't like the fact that in the address it's called state. I'm going to change that to state ID to be consistent. So there we go, and see how it automatically changed it for you over here. That's great. It saves you a lot on typing. It does it for you automatically. Very magical. Okay, now we are going to go back here to the page and we're going to go to the aggregate, and now we're going to drag fields over into the form. So we drag address 1 followed by address 2 followed by city and finally state. And as you notice, the drop-down has been created for states, and it has all of the states. So it saves you a lot of development right there. Normally you would have to do something to make that appear on there, but not in reactive and not at Outsystems. It takes care of it for you. But we have an error. What is our error? Something about a click. Oh, I know what it is. It is our button. Our button doesn't have anywhere to go. See at the very bottom right hand corner, the on-click event is empty. So that means we need to add a client action, and we're going to give it a client action, and we are going to name this save. There we are. And now we need to link the click event to the client action. course, you could have done this by simply selecting create new client action, but by doing it this way, you see what all is involved. Okay, there we go. So now it is saved. And when we compile it, we're going to get a nice big blue button that says everything is good. All right. So we test that in the browser. Oh, look at that. Yeah, we forgot to make it anonymous so that we don't have to worry about permissions. So, okay. So we go back to the page and we click anonymous. And now when we compile it, I believe that when we next pull it up in the browser, it should look good. There it is. Very good. Very nice. And the save event works. Of course, there's nothing there, but look at all those wonderful states just showing up right there magically for you. All right. Let's go back to make that button actually do something. So we'll go to the Save Client action, and here we are going to, well, we're going to need from the logic area, we're going to need a server action. So let's create a server action to save the information, and we're going to call this Save Address. All right, that's done. Next, we are going to add an input parameter. And the way that Reactive works, if you pass the record, it will save the record and it will take care of everything that you need. So what we're going to do is we're going to pass the record of the address. There we go. Data type, address. All right, that's what we're going to pass to it. But what's it going to do? Well, we need to make it add. So we are going to create address action from the database table, and here we're going to tell it what it is that we're passing, which is the address record. So that right there takes care of saving your record. And here in the client, we need to call that action. There we are. And we need to pass the record to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here. We're going to select the current record for get address. There we are. That looks good. Okay, let's close this. We're done here. If you do nothing else, once you click the button, if you enter any data, once you click that button, this is going to take care of saving your record. There are no additional variables. There's nothing else that you need to do. You already have logic that will save the record. So let's compile it, and we'll pull it up in the browser and see what we got. Okay, click on the browser. All right, we'll enter some junk data here, QQQQ, some letters. For whatever reason, I'm typing, but it's not, it's not letting me put the letters. I wonder what's wrong. Okay, well, let me just skip that for a moment. Go on to the states. Oh, come on. One more try? No, forget it. Okay, we're going to choose Colorado. And, okay. So let me put E. And we're going to save it. Ooh, look at that. Wonderful, wonderful errors. By the way, I knew they were there, but I wanted you to see how we fix them. It says integer expected. So that means that the database expects an integer rather than a text. So we'll come back up here to address 1. We see that that's a text. Address 2, it says it's an integer. So let's change that to a text data type. All right, good. Compile it, but I'll just remember that city was also messed up. So after this finishes compiling, I'm going to change city. Okay, city. There it is. It is an integer. Let's change that to text, and let's compile once more. And now let's go to the browser and see if we can save some data. So let's enter some junk data, www, Let's change that to some city. And let's change that to Iowa. Okay, let's save it. Did it save it? I don't know. I didn't put any response to let me know whether or not I'd saved it. So let's go to the data. Let's take a look directly at the data. Go to the table, view the data, and there's some city right there. And a previous line of the original junk that I saved. All right, so it looks good. Let's, if we could stop right there, that's good enough. You know how to do it, but I just want to point out that the most important thing here is that you are not having to create any kind of variables to save this information. The actual aggregate saves the data for you, so you don't have to mess with that. And you pass that aggregate record all the way from the client through the server action to the add address or create address action. Okay, that looks good. One more time. I'll tell you what, let's give it a little message. Something that lets me know that it has saved the record. All right, we'll add here, congrats, yay. All right, so we'll compile this real quickly. Okay, and we'll go to the field. Let's add some more junk data. All right, and some more junk data and some town. Yeah, let's some town. Okay, and this will be in main. So we hit the save, yay, it says congrats, so it all worked. I should be able to see it in my data, and then my data table if I view the data, and sure enough, there it is, some town. All right, guys, this concludes our tutorials for the day. Make sure you hit the bell to let you know when we have new videos, and hit the thumbs up button to let me know that you really like this, and to let YouTube know that you really like these videos. And feel free to enter anything in the comments, so that if you want to see other items, let me know. I'll make sure that I try to do tutorials on them. All right, see you all later. Bye.